Welcome to Oceanside. It's Minner. Oceanside, otherwise known as the curb for homeless people in San Diego to sit on. Kids love bikes. So yesterday I was on this road around 10 a.m. and all the crackheads are just awakening. I saw a guy cleaning his feet in the curb at about yay. Now that I've managed to capture every red light in this godforsaken town. 10 a.m. guys. We've got to wake up. Every store is closed. Very strange. I know, and it's not 2 p.m., but California gets a slow start. Anybody who wakes up late, you should just come to California. You'll be in sync. Anybody who wakes up late or tends to be 15 to 20 minutes late to every single meeting that's ever existed would do wonderfully in California. Even in the more regimented specialties that you can engage in this county, people are regularly 15 to 20 minutes late for meetings, and somehow it's acceptable. It's very different from the East Coast. People look to burn you alive on the conference table. I think it's part of the underlying sense of misfortune that seems to plague the people on the East Coast. I mean, after all, every season sucks. I grew up there, I know. But literally, every season sucks. Sometimes you get a good fall. You get a good fall like every few years. Every time I get into a parking lot with this thing, it's like a low-speed handling drill. High stakes. Here we go. And put the Haldol, the old haloperidol, in my bag. Monthly supply, just to keep things even keeled. Looks like there's a meeting of the minds here in a drugstore parking lot at 9:50 a.m. I can't speak for you guys, but my biggest nightmare is seeing somebody I know in a drugstore parking lot. Small talk is one of my biggest nightmares. Let us both waste time pretending to care about each other at this moment. I mean, not to say wish harm on anybody at any point. I always wish the utmost happiness and peace. But it doesn't mean I have to talk about the weather for 20 minutes outside of a drugstore. Oh, guess who had a baby? Guess who doesn't care? Interesting guy. Older school. Got some gray hair. He's got a Mercedes that's, well, I think it's lowered, man. It's got a lowered S-Class. It's got a lowered S-Class with earbuds in. Another thing about California. Men refuse to age. I swear 50 is the new 20. I think we can go now, unless you just don't want to go. Yeah. Another thing about the West Coast. People don't use their horns anywhere near as much as they do on the East Coast. Right there, this lady would have gotten hammered with horns. But no, they're almost horn-free. Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Thank you. And your S-Class with no blinkers, apparently. Glad you took the time to stick your finger out the window. 50 is the new 20, man. Take it easy. Gotta love it. There we go. There's a nice little squeezer spot to turn in. Let's go evaluate this creepy little cemetery side road. Look at this guy, he's camping out here in front of the cemetery with the kayaks and the skull on his window. Great spot, man. Great spot. SK's nuts. SK's nuts. The taste is gonna move ya. SK's nuts. SK's nuts. Is it just me, or is every time you guys get off your Softail you feel like you're hopping off of a parade? Must be that recent sport bike experience. I do. I think I'm on a parade every time I get on this thing. It's wonderful. So I decided to take a seat with the Old Man Club in the donut shop, just for an experience. There's two guys sitting next to me. One's more disabled than the other. A little older, a little more fragile. That guy's name is George. The other guy's reading his iPhone off to George, because it's clear that George probably can't read an iPhone at this point. And he's stating each headline, picking out the ones of interest. He'd be like, "Hey George, listen to this, George. You wouldn't believe this, George. Oh, you're gonna like this one, George. Get this one. Man gets off for rape. Yeah. And George seems to be having a good time. It just supports your faith in humanity. Hey George, what do you want to do next, George? Want to go to the beach, George? Where do you want to go? George didn't have much to say. He remembered a couple of things. And his friend offered, well, why don't we just go to the beach? Walk around a little bit, have a seat, and then we'll go get a pizza pie. Literally, he said, we'll get a pizza pie or something. George murmured a few more times, and off they went. In a big old 1970s ghetto sled. That's Oceanside for you. I make fun of it, but it's quite a trip. See, part of me wanted to race in front of this guy carrying all his steel on his shoulder. It's that decision not to run in front of this guy, even though I had plenty of time. That'll probably be the nicest thing I do all day. It doesn't take much. Just try not to be a dick. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, are these 15 seconds really that important to cut off a driver of a car with a baby in the front seat doing 80 miles an hour because you're late to your job, or ram in front of a guy carrying steel on his shoulder? So life isn't so bad. It isn't so complicated, guys. All you gotta do is look at the squirrel. Just get your nuts, work hard, prepare, then relax. But it seems to be the getting the nuts part that's the biggest problem. And I'm sure the squirrel will agree with you. They're not everywhere. But don't give up. I swear riding this thing is like being on a parade. You just chug along. For some reason, nailing the throttle off the line and chugging along at 25 miles an hour is somehow entertaining on this bike. I don't know how, but it is. I think it's the noises, the feeling, the position is just so comfortable. It's hard to complain at all. Everything you do is very sort of smooth, and it doesn't make you nervous based upon its responses, because that's not what it was meant to do. But yeah, it's a perpetual parade on this thing. It's wonderful. It's probably why you see you guys rolling around streets, clogging them all up. You're wondering what they're doing on these Harleys or cruisers. They don't really seem to be going anywhere. They're not going very fast. You might even say they're in your way. And I'm sure they are, but I can certainly understand where they're coming from. What is that sound? I don't know. I mean, it's got to be the pistons just chugging up and down because it's just so rhythmic. I know it seems like a foolish thing to mention. Of course, it's the pistons, some people might say, but, you know. Love it. Just this gentle pulsation. The quote-unquote agricultural aspects. I have to say, if it felt like a tractor, I don't think I'd want to ride it. Although its cousin is the tractor. I'll admit to that. It's got a tractor cousin. You can't judge people based upon their cousins, though.